right now on WHSV News 3.
Tonight in our news at 5, a Valley woman who's convicted of killing her 2-month-old daughter receives her sentence today. How many years she'll spend in prison?
Plus, click it or ticket. We are live tonight with the latest on how local law enforcement is working hard to raise awareness of safety while behind the wheel.
And some dry weather for the start of our weekend, but we've got some rain in the forecast. I'll have those details coming up.
This is WHSV News 3 at 5.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Bob Corso.
And I'm Allison Bernard. We are glad you could join us this Thursday evening. First, here's a quick look at what stories we are working on for you tonight.
What you wanna get down.
Legendary disco queen Donna Summer has died after a battle with cancer. A look at her legacy coming up in just a few minutes. Very sad news about the queen of disco. I will always remember her for her 1980s hit, She Works Hard for the Money. How about you, Bob?
Well, of course, in the 70s, she was big in the disco era. I can remember dancing in Annandale, Virginia at the soundstage, a disco to Donna Summer and other disco hits.
Yes.
Of course, Bad Girls and just a lot of hits that she had during that time. So, in The Last Dance, Last Chance for Romance. So she was a disco icon.
She definitely was.
And you know, she'll of course be missed. And only 63, so unfortunately
Very
succumbed to
sad.
cancer.
Everybody had their favorite Donna Summer moment. We'll show you what's trending online about her death in just a few minutes. Plus, diet and exercise, a key to weight loss.
But when and what we put in our bodies can improve the quality of the workout. Find out how to fuel your body for your next workout coming up in 25 minutes. Plus, a well-known antibiotic could now be a health risk.
Commonly called Zithromax, or maybe a Z-Pack, you know of it. We'll explain why some are questioning if it's safe. This definitely caught my attention. I know when I'm sick, my doctor typically prescribes me a Z-Pack. So that full story in 30 minutes.
Plus, we get an inside look at JMU's newest addition to its science department.
WHSV's Tim Ronca takes us on an inside tour of their new bioscience building. He'll bring us the full story in 30 minutes. I talked to Tim when he got back. He'll share some very interesting things about that building. And
later in our one-on-one interview, we'll meet a local beekeeper as bees are starting to make honey. That's coming up at 5:37.
Now to an update on a murder case we've been following. A woman convicted of killing her 2-month-old daughter in Stanton will spend the next 20 years in prison.
That comes after her conviction of first-degree murder and attempted second-degree murder. WHSV News 3's Elizabeth Lamb was in the courtroom and joins us from our Augusta County newsroom. Elizabeth, what did you see in court today?
Bob, the woman Ashkia Johnson had tissues in her hand and wiped her eyes throughout today's sentencing. What you're seeing right now is Johnson being taken to prison for smothering her daughter Rosalia with a plastic bag. She killed her infant daughter back in 2009. Today, a psychologist spoke out about Johnson's childhood and her upbringing. Johnson was 17 years old when she killed her daughter. The baby was on life support before she died at UVA's Medical Center, Bob.
Now, Elizabeth, Johnson was found guilty of the murder in 2010. Why did it take until now for the sentencing?
Right, Bob, that's because Johnson had to have a psychological evaluation, and that took up time before the sentencing. In our Augusta County newsroom, Elizabeth Lamb, WHSV News 3.
It's that time of year again when you'll see more police officers on the road to keep you safe.
The Harrisonburg Police Department is kicking off its Click It or Ticket campaign today. WHSV's Litsa Pappas is in Harrisonburg to tell us what they're doing this year. Litsa.
Bob and Allison, take a look at this car over here. You can see that this was clearly in an accident. This car is totaled. Harrisonburg police put this on display along Reservoir in Harrisonburg because it's a main road so that lots of people driving by will see it. They did this to remind people to wear their seatbelt because this could happen to you. Now, officers were out today posting signs and stickers all over the car along this main road. Harrisonburg police officer Greg Deed says wearing your seatbelt can save your life. Even though they do this campaign every year, he says it's always important to remind people to stay safe. This week, he says they're educating the public. Then the next couple of weeks, they'll be out in full force.
Due to DMV grant money, there'll be saturation patrols out all over the state and also checkpoints throughout the day and evening hours, trying to get people to buckle up.
Deed says with Memorial Day coming up, he says lots of people will be out on the road. That's why this is the perfect time to kick off this Click It or Ticket campaign. Live in Harrisonburg from our mobile newsroom, Litsa Pappas, WHSV News 3.
Thank you, Lisa. Right now, a traffic alert to pass along to you. This is a live look at Interstate 81 at exit 217 in Mid-Spring, where you can see there is some sort of a crash. We do not know anything about this crash right now, but we do know that the 2 lanes are shut down on the southbound side in Augusta County. Remember, you can get a live look at our traffic cameras. Just log on to WHSV.com.
Now back to the death of legendary disco queen Donna Summer. The legendary disco queen died today. Her publicist said the singer passed away this morning in Florida, surrounded by her family. Summer was a 5-time Grammy winner who first rose to fame in the 1970s with Love to Love You, Baby. Summer is survived by her husband, singer and producer Bruce Sedano, their 2 daughters, and a 3rd daughter from a previous marriage. She was 63 years old.
Right now, the death of Donna Summers, as we mentioned earlier, is also trending online. This is a live look at our Facebook page right now where several of you are reflecting back on her life tonight. Mickey shares with us, "This is so sad. May Donna Summer rest in peace."
And Pam shares with us, "Too many memories. They were all good. Singing was effortless for her." We want to know what you think about this story. Log on to Facebook and search for WHSV. More tragedy for the Kennedy family. Tonight, the autopsy results reveal Mary Kennedy died of asphyxiation due to hanging. In 1994, Mary married Robert F. Kennedy, Jr., the son of the slain political icon. She leaves behind her children, who range in age from 11 to 18. Their father filed for divorce from their mother in 2010. It was never finalized. Mary struggled publicly with drugs and alcoholism. The weather was nice today out in Rockingham County. Here's a view from Singer's Glen looking east. And you're looking toward the Massanutten Mountain there for the latest on our forecast. Let's go to meteorologist Aubrey Urbanowitz.
Aubrey, a sunny day across the valley. I bet people are wondering if that will continue into our weekend, hopefully.
Well, we'll definitely see some sun this weekend, but we've got some clouds in the forecast as well. Let's take a look at satellite and radar, where we are seeing some clouds, especially for the southern valley, and a few isolated showers, and actually a thunderstorm just south of Highland County right now. But for the most part, just starting to see some clouds build into the southern valley. Could see a light shower or hear a rumble of thunder for Highland County. We have some winds converging, meaning they're coming into each other. That's creating just enough lift to help support some very light shower activity. But notice our winds coming in out of the northeast. Still a little breezy at times, about 7, 8, even 9 miles an hour today. That's helping to support just enough moisture for some of those clouds this evening. So a cooler evening, 63 degrees by 9 o'clock, 56 by 11 o'clock tonight with a few clouds in the forecast. I'll have more details coming up.
Thank you, Aubrey. Right now, a scam alert to pass along. A scam sent under the disguise of the U.S. Postal Service could harm your computer, and the Stanton Police Department wants to keep you safe. This is a look at what the scam looks like. At least 2 people in Stanton have already opened the scam. It's a fake email from the USPS customer service about shipment status. The scam wants your money, but also leaves a virus on your computer. Stanton Police Department officer Lisa Klein says if you're questioning an email source, it's best not to open it.
We can't do anything with it as a local police department. So what we're doing is referring people to the U.S. Postal Inspectors. They're federal investigators, and of course they have the ability to work a federal investigation related to a postal crime.
Klein says it's best to ignore any messages you question. You can also get in touch with the USPS if you're expecting a package. A small earthquake rattled parts of Texas just hours ago. The U.S. Geological Survey says the 4.3 magnitude quake struck 3 miles east of the city of Timpson near the Louisiana border. The tremor threw items off the shelves at this thrift store and pulled bricks off the outside of the building. So far, there are no reports of serious damage. An elderly woman was injured after falling out of her bed during the quake, but is expected to be okay.
And a football field. Well, the size of a football field is close to 100 meters, and some asteroids in space are actually the size of a football field. In fact, a new NASA study says there are about 4,700 potentially hazardous asteroids near Earth, and all of those are bigger than 100 meters. They are within 5 million miles of Earth. So far, an estimated 20 to 30% of these objects have been found, and if one of them were to pass through the planet's atmosphere, it could cause major damage. Still, NASA says this is not something to panic about, and the agency is keeping a close eye on this situation.
And right now, just to put this into perspective even a little bit more, Aubrey, this is 1 meter, and you were telling us earlier that the asteroids make up close to 100 of these sometimes.
Yes. Very large, and they're all different sizes. So they can be small little pieces like balls, but they can also be larger than a football field.
That is remarkable. Tell us a little bit about what is an asteroid? What makes up one?
Well, an asteroid is basically a large rock that orbits in space, and they can be all different sizes. There are actually millions of asteroids floating in space, and scientists believe that these are kind of leftover material from when the solar system was formed. NASA tracks any asteroid that will come close to Earth, and these are specially classified as near-Earth asteroids.
It's amazing. And Aubrey, just out of curiosity, do scientists know how many asteroids there are out there?
Well, they do know that 26 very large asteroids have been discovered, but there are still millions of smaller asteroids, too many to really count because they range in size. So we do have
only 26 that they
large
actually
ones. Exactly. So that's good news, but also a lot of other smaller ones out there in space.
Well, there you have it, what an asteroid is. Thanks so much, Aubrey. Still to come tonight, an overweight Virginian man was denied a ride on a roller coaster due to safety concerns. You'll never guess how much weight he lost to get his thrill. Details coming up in 2 minutes.
Plus, the latest information from the Census Bureau is revealing shocking statistics when it comes to the number of minorities born in the U.S.
But first, here's a look at Interstate 81 at exit 217 in Mid-Spring. We want to bring you back to this traffic alert right now. We do know that 2 lanes in the southbound lanes are shut down right now in Augusta County. For more information, log on to our web channel, WHSV.com.
First, here's a planning forecast for Luray.
Right now we have breaking news in the death of Trayvon Martin, the 17-year-old Florida teen shot and killed by neighborhood watch volunteers. Autopsy results just released showed Martin had the drug THC in his system the night of his death, and the autopsy report shows traces of that drug, which is found in marijuana in Martin's blood and urine. And the revelations came as prosecutors prepared to release hundreds of pages of new evidence along with videos and crime scene photos. Martin's death sparked public outrage after police released Martin's shooter, George Zimmerman, without any criminal charges for the killing. We'll have more in our next half hour on that story. This evening, a report from the Census Bureau shows that for the first time ever, more than half of all babies born last year in the United States were minorities. A local professor says it's a sign of changes ahead for America. Dr. Jim Josephson, who's a professor at Bridgewater College, says more interracial marriages may happen over the next several decades. Minorities tend to live in urban and suburban areas as well, and as their numbers grow, we'll start to see a move of the population. He also says support on issues like gay marriage and immigration will likely grow as the newest generation grows older, which will be a big advantage for Democrats.
The whole idea of Virginia as a religiously conservative white area of the country is transforming tremendously. That transformation is going to accelerate.
If the stats continue on their current trend, Dr. Josephson says by around 2040, the majority of this country will be a part of a minority ethnic group. Looking for an incentive to lose weight? Try this on for size. A Virginia man weighing 300 pounds was not allowed to ride a roller coaster at King's Dominion, so park workers at the volcano told Nat Ambrose that the harness would not fit him and he couldn't ride for safety purposes. Ambrose said he was embarrassed and decided to make some serious changes. He lost 105 pounds in 9 months. He returned to the park a new man and rode that roller coaster. Aubrey?
Well, I'll have your weekend forecast coming up, and we've got a little sunshine in the forecast. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the break.
Now, your First Alert Storm Team forecast with meteorologist Aubrey Urbanowitz.
A few clouds outside for this evening, mostly sunny skies, especially for the northern valley. A lot of the clouds are hovering towards Rockingham, Augusta, and Highland County, which we're actually starting to see some showers and maybe a slight thunderstorm pop up just outside of Highland County. Not out of the question to see one of these pop up for Highland County. A little bit of remnant moisture left over for that area. Everywhere else should remain dry. And here's a look at our relative humidity. This really sets the stage for the boundary that we're seeing. Some slightly more humid air, especially for areas in the southern valley, let's say Rockingham County South, and northern valley closer towards Winchester. Some very drier air, drier conditions, and some slightly cooler temperatures behind the cold front that did move through overnight. Outside our studio right now, 72 degrees, and winds are out of the northeast, 5 to 10 miles an hour. That's helping to bring in just enough moisture to help bring in some of those clouds for this evening. Take a look at temperatures called in by weather watchers. 74 for Grottoes, 71 in Bridgewater, so not too bad out there. A pretty nice afternoon. 74 for Stanton and 70 for Woodstock. So that lets you know we've got some cooler temperatures for the northern valley and a couple degrees warmer in Augusta County and in the southern area. High pressure will continue to build into the area as we go throughout this evening. So it's going to be a little bit of a battle between the high pressure trying to get rid of some of those clouds. Still think we'll see some partly cloudy skies overnight. As we get into our Friday, still picking up on that northeasterly flow. That could bring in enough moisture to provide some of those clouds. But what we're also watching is this coastal low pressure system that is off the coast of the Carolinas. That could move a little bit closer to land. Right now we're looking at it just to help produce some clouds as we get into Friday and Saturday. We're going to have to see how this kind of plays out. It's going to be a battle between the high and the low as we get into our weekend. So we could see a few more clouds as some of that moisture is brought into the area, and we are looking to stay dry at least through the end of the weekend. So that is the good news. And as we get into our Saturday morning, we'll start to see a little bit more sun, but also some more clouds. Temperatures tonight, 52 degrees for the valley, partly cloudy skies. Still a pretty mild evening for tonight, 46 for the higher elevations, a bit on the cooler side for the highlands. Tomorrow, our temperatures are going to round out right around where we were today. 70 for Franklin, 71 in Matthias, and 71 for the valley. So still a pretty nice afternoon, although we'll see a few more clouds. 78 for Saturday. We'll start to see temperatures building up just a little bit as we get into our weekend, but we'll also see some more clouds over that low pressure system that's going to be affecting us. 78 for Saturday, 79 for Sunday. As we get into next week, temperatures still staying on the mild side, but we'll start to introduce some rain on Sunday night and into Monday. That could continue into Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, timing will still be a factor with this specific system. We're still working out some of those details, and as I mentioned, it's going to be almost a battle between the high and the low to see which one actually wins out, to see how much rain we'll actually get next week.
Looking forward to figuring out what that is.
Well,
we could use the rain, but
we'll see some drier days before that.
Yeah, it's like several nice days. I guess.
Absolutely, yes. Still not a bad weekend.
Great, thanks, Aubrey. More news is still ahead, but first, here's a look at your planning forecast for Harrisonburg.
Tim Tebow's lawyers are threatening legal action against a website they say is illegally using his name.
TMZ is reporting that the attorneys for the New York Jets quarterback sent a letter to cubbytees.com. The company made a t-shirt that says, "My Jesus," in a design that uses the Jets team logo. Tebow isn't mentioned on the shirt, but he is mentioned on the company's website. Cubbytees.com says they will continue to sell those t-shirts, saying the My Jesus shares nothing with Tebow.
Doc could soon be monitoring your vital signs from his own home. The Federal Communications Commission says it plans to allocate spectrum bandwidth for use of body sensors that would monitor a patient's vital signs wirelessly. The idea is that doctors could monitor patients' vital signs at home or in hospital via low-cost wearable sensors that are attached to the patient's body. FCC officials say the amount of radiation involved with these devices is so low that they would pose no health risks. And manufacturers estimate that this could save about $2,000 to $12,000 a patient. The FCC is scheduled to vote on the plan next week. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Big breath again.
WHSV News 3 at 5 continues now at 5:30. And this is your weather now.
Plenty of sunshine for today, although we're starting to see a few clouds, especially for the southern valley. We'll continue to see some partly cloudy skies as we go throughout the evening hours. Not out of the question to see a light shower or maybe hear a rumble of thunder for Highland County. That would be the only area that will hear and possibly see a shower. 74 for the Stanton area, 70 in Winchester. You'll notice the cooler temperatures are a little bit more towards the northern valley as we go throughout this evening. It's going to be pretty mild for tonight, so another nice night to get outside. 74 degrees by 7 o'clock, 68 by 9, and 62 by 11 o'clock tonight. We'll start cooling back into the 50s overnight, and I'll have more details on the forecast coming up.
Thanks very much, Aubrey. We want to quickly get you up to speed on some of the top headlines this evening.
We continue to follow breaking news tonight out of Florida. In the death of Trayvon Martin, the 17-year-old Florida teen shot and killed by a neighborhood watch volunteer, autopsy results just released show Martin and the drug THC in his system the night of his death. The autopsy report shows traces of that drug, which is found in marijuana, in Martin's blood and urine. The revelation came as prosecutors prepared to release hundreds of pages of new evidence, along with the videos and crime scene photos.
A woman convicted of killing her 2-month-old daughter in Stanton will spend the next 28 years in prison. Askia Johnson had tissues in her hand and wiped her eyes during today's sentencing. What you're seeing is Johnson being taken to prison for smothering her daughter, Rosalea, with a plastic bag. She killed her infant daughter back in 2009. Today, a psychologist spoke about Johnson's childhood and upbringing. Johnson was 17 years old when she killed her daughter.
Legendary disco queen Donna Summer has died after a battle with cancer. Summer was a 5-time Grammy winner who first rose to fame in the 1970s with Love to Love You, Baby. She was 63 years old.
The Harrisburg Police Department is kicking off its Click It or Ticket campaign today. Officers were out posting signs and stickers today all over the car and along the main road. Harrisburg Police Officer Greg Deeds says wearing your seatbelt can save your life. Even though they do this campaign every year, he says it's always important to remind people to stay safe. This week, he says they're educating the public.
A scam sent under the disguise of the U.S. Postal Service could harm your computer, and the Stanton Police Department wants to keep you safe. This is a look at what that scam looks like. At least 2 people we know of in Stanton have already opened that scam. It's a fake email from USPS customer service about shipment statuses. The scam wants your money, but also leaves a virus on your computer. Coming up in tonight's Here's the Deal, how you can get a deal on Yankee candles. That's coming up in a couple of minutes.
And coming up, we'll meet a local beekeeper and take you inside a hive. That's in our one-on-one interview in 8 minutes. It may be summer break for many JMU students, but work for a brand new campus building is still going on. News 3's Tim Ronka took a tour of the brand new bioscience building today. He got to see a whole new way students are learning. Tim?
Alice and Bob, I was in this new building for just a few minutes today, but you can tell they have really thought of everything. From state-of-the-art green design to interactive labs, students are really in for a real treat this fall. This new building actually starts with its landscaping. As you can see here, different kinds of plants are put in, not just for decoration, but so bio students can use them for class. The building's designers hope it's certified by the U.S. Green Building Council. The lights work on sensors, stormwater is retained, and it's also built from recycled materials. Professors are excited about their new space.
We've had, teaching moments with one student under a microscope, and now with all of the new design, it's really a touch of a button where you can share those moments with the whole class.
The building has 3 floors, and I actually thought this was kind of cool. Each one has a theme. It's Earth on the bottom floor, second floor is Canopy, and Sky is the 3rd floor. And right now it's all about getting equipment inside the building. Classes will start there in the fall.
That's very interesting. All right. Well, I figure it's time for a little trivia match. I know you mentioned this yesterday, Bob.
Been a while.
We haven't done it in a while exactly, so stay on the topic of the JMU Bioscience building. I have 3 questions for you guys, and I did not put them in prompter, so Bob can't cheat. All right, first question, Tim, you're up. When did construction start on this building?
I mean, I did do the story, so I should kind of know what I'm talking about. I believe it was September, or it was 2010, I think.
Okay. Do you have an answer?
See, today is 2012, so 2010 makes sense, I think.
Okay, well, you guys both got that right.
Right.
You were right. Good
Score
job.
1.
All right, total square footage.
I'll let Bob answer first.
I thought I remember a release about this. 93,000?
Okay, Tim?
Yeah, I'm just going to go about that too. I didn't remember seeing that today. I think it's like 93,000, 94,000.
You guys were right close, 90,000.
Ah.
90,000.
So,
Okay.
all right, final question. What was the cost of the construction?
Ooh, this is a $1 million question.
Yes, it is.
30 million.
On the line.
I'm going 30 million.
I think, yeah, 33, 36 million, somewhere in there.
Oh, Bob got it, 33.
Really?
Yes. So, but you also told me you had a question for Bob.
Yes, well, a couple of professors mentioned they wanted to see Bob Corso say this word. I typed it in the prompter for you there, Bob. Do you think you could read that and pronounce it right?
Yes, this is a tough word. Actually, I was, we were talking to the folks publicizing this building, and he and I both had trouble saying it. Microscopy.
Close,
That's
microscopy.
very close, yes.
And basically that means just the use of microscopes. So for instance, there is a microscopy suite in the building. Professors are very excited about that.
Say that again?
Microscopy.
Okay.
Microscopy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's a
just
tongue
learned something new
twister.
today.
So they'll be saying, meet me in
All
the
right.
microscopy
Well, I
suite.
believe
Yes, there you
that I believe that Bob won this one.
Oh, that means he has
Yes.
to wear the.
So you have
Right.
to wear the
Actually, I
pink
think.
glasses.
Well, okay.
I think it might have been
was
tied.
close.
Whatever, I like
Pretty
wearing them
close.
anyway.
All right.
There you go.
Good job. And Bob, I don't have anything for you
Yeah,
yet.
it looks like
I'll buy
something
you a
Donna,
candy bar.
wasn't Donna Summer wearing that in one of the clips we saw? Didn't she have some,
She
wild
might have been.
glasses on?
I mean, I love Donna
This
Summer,
is-
but I think I look better in them anyway. So.
Yeah, well, this, maybe a
like
disco
them too.
era,
Thank you.
disco era sunglasses. I think so.
All right, great fun, guys. Thanks
Always
so
fun with you.
much. Well, diet and exercise are key to weight loss, but when and what we put in our bodies can improve the quality of our workout as well. What to eat before, during, and after exercise is just as important as the exercise itself. If you are exercising first thing in the morning for an hour or less, you can delay breakfast. But if you're working out later in the day, load up on carbs and protein for lunch. Eat a combination of protein and carbs within 30 to 40 minutes post-workout. But experts say limit protein, 10 to 20 grams or a palm-sized piece of chicken is enough. And of course, eat your fruits and veggies. They can help mop up the damage done during exercise. If your workout lasts more than an hour, you may need to refuel with a sports beverage or gel during that workout. A 14-year study out today in the New England Journal of Medicine finds that the popular antibiotic Zithromax, an antibiotic widely used for bronchitis and other common infections, seems to increase chances for sudden deadly heart problems. Zithromax, part of the Z-Pak class of drugs, is more expensive than other antibiotics, but is popular because it can often be taken for fewer days. The study looked at the medical records of more than 500,000 Medicaid patients 30 to 74 years old and noticed a higher increase in sudden death for high-risk heart patients taking that drug.
Man versus alligator. Alligator wins. This biologist was attempting to wrangle the 300-pound gator in North Carolina. Now, the gator wasn't ready to leave his habitat in a residential area in Carteret County. The 10-foot-long reptile lashed out at the man, biting his arm and sending him on a quick retreat. More than 20 emergency responders were on the scene, and they eventually captured the alligator, then released it back into the wild. The biologist was treated at the hospital and released. More tragedy for the Kennedy family. Yesterday, Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s former wife killed herself at her home in New York. Tonight, the autopsy results reveal Mary Kennedy died of asphyxiation due to hanging. Mary married RFK Jr., the son of the slain political icon, in 1994. Now, she leaves behind her children, who range in age from 11 to 18. Their father filed for divorce from their mother in 2010. It was never finalized. Mary struggled publicly with drugs and alcohol.
It's time for tonight's Here's the Deal. Tonight's Here's the Deal is a deal on some well-known candles. WHSV Here's the Deal viewers can get $10 off Yankee candle purchases of $25. For more information on this deal, log on to our web channel, WHSV.com. And do you know of a deal going on right now in the Valley? We'd love to hear from you. Share that deal with us on WHSV.com and click on the Deals tab. And remember, you can get a Here's the Deal t-shirt. We'll be back with more news in 2 minutes, but first, here's a look at the top 3 stories this Thursday evening on WHSV.com. It's believed the practice of beekeeping to produce honey dates back to at least 700 BC.
Here in the Shenandoah Valley, there's a few commercial beekeepers, which means they make a lot of honey and they do it for a living. Today, we met with one in Rockingham County. I'm here with Dennis Wetzel. He's the beekeeper at Golden Angels Apiary in Singers Glen, and Dennis has got several of these white boxes here. Each of these white boxes contains a hive of bees, usually with one queen, and we've got several of these white boxes in this bee yard. And how many of these white boxes do you expect to have out this summer in the area?
About 550 colonies.
And 550 will be in how many bee yards?
About 22.
And where will those bee yards be?
Most of them will be in Rockingham County, but I got some in Augusta too.
Okay. How much honey do you expect to get from those 550 hives?
Well, we have a pretty good year, between 2,000 and 3,000 gallons.
2,000 to 3,000 gallons of honey. Okay. Now, you actually will process that honey here in Singers Glen.
That's right.
And tell us what's going on now with the bees. We can look here and see this hive. We've got some bees buzzing around it. What are they doing? Tell us what's happening in this hive right here.
Well, right now they're foraging for nectar, and they're also bringing pollen in, and they use this to build their populations up, and then they'll help them make a good honey crop.
Okay. Now, how many in typically one of these boxes, when it's at its peak, how many bees will there be there?
Well, between 40 and 60,000 colonies.
In one of these boxes?
Bees, I mean to say, yeah.
One of these boxes, 40 to 60,000 bees?
Right.
Man. Now, they're foraging for honey now, so some of them, the forager bees, are out going to get, nectar?
Right.
And how far do they travel?
Well, they'll go about 2 miles to get the nectar they need.
And what will they get it from?
Well, right now we have a lot of white Dutch clover, and if we open this hive here, we'll see we also have tulip poplar they've been working. And
that's a tree, right?
Right.
Okay.
And also some blackberry, too.
Okay, and tell us what's taking place. What are they? The forager bees are coming in and they're giving the nectar to other bees?
Yeah, that's right. They bring the nectar in, and then they have what they call house bees. They receive the nectar from the bees, and then they'll store it in cells until they need it.
Now, how does the nectar become honey? How does that take place?
Well, it's a fanning process. If you notice there that the bees are fanning air on one side of the hive, they actually force air through the hive, and this brings the moisture content of the nectar from 50% down to something like 17 or 18%.
So through the fanning process, the bees turn the nectar into honey.
That's right. It's pretty amazing.
And how are they fanning? Tell me what's happening.
Well, they're just doing it with their wings. They actually just fan. It doesn't look like they're doing much, but it's actually, if you put your hand down there, you can feel a flow of air coming in one side and out the other.
And that's making the nectar into honey.
That's right.
Okay, and we're going to take a look inside now and see what's in this hive. Now, Dennis is using his smoker, and he's going to take the top of the hive off. Is that putting out some smoke?
Yes, it is.
And what are we doing now?
This sort of calms the bees, the smoke does, just drives them down a little bit. Only takes just a very little bit. So we're going to pull a frame here and just show you what they're doing now. So.
Okay, and carefully he's lifting up a frame.
And if you notice here that they're making dark honey, you can see there that dark honey in the cells, that'll make that's from the tulip poplar tree, that'll make a good wildflower honey.
Now, does that taste different than like the clover honey?
Yeah, it sort of has more flavor to it.
And what are all these bees on there doing right now?
Well, they're putting nectar in the cells, and some of them are taking some of the nectar or honey and feeding to the bees, and they're kind of utilizing it right now. They're kind of in a build-up period right now.
And you've got thousands of bees right in there. How come we're not getting stung?
Yeah, a little bit of smoke calms them down. This is also a very sunny day. They're nice and calm on a sunny day.
Okay. So they're making honey right now, and they're going to be harvesting this summer. We'll come back this summer and see how the harvest process goes, because right now they're making the honey here at Golden Angels Apiary. Now, I've got right here, Allison, I've got a bottle of the Golden Angels honey. Now, it's interesting, the honey they made last summer sold out earlier this year. So they brought in honey.
Really?
This was packed yesterday. They brought in honey from Wisconsin to be
right
able to
up by
keep,
me.
handling their accounts and everything, because they've got accounts all over Virginia. And you can actually find Golden Angels Apiary honey in Harrisonburg at Kate's Natural Products, at Sue's Super Nutrition, and at Red Front.
That is interesting. You know, I have a new appreciation for honey, all because of your 101.
And we'll find more about the harvesting process into the summer.
Right.
Okay.
Looking forward to that. On to economy news tonight. Facebook is finally becoming public soon.
Bloomberg's Deborah Costrin has the very latest.
Big layoffs may be coming to Hewlett-Packard. Sources tell Bloomberg HP is considering cutting as many as 25,000 jobs to reduce costs. That's about 8% of its workforce. The company's PC sales continue to drop as more consumers favor tablets like Apple's iPad. The other big story is Facebook's IPO. The world's most popular website makes its stock market debut Friday under the ticker symbol FB. Now, the company priced its shares today at $38 apiece. That means that the company raised $16 billion, making it the biggest initial public offering by a tech company. But not much jumping on Wall Street today. It was day 5 of stock market losses. In fact, disappointing economic data here and worries over in Europe pushing the market lower. And JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon will do some more talking in the public about that huge trading loss. Dimon agreed to testify in front of the Senate Banking Committee to discuss the bank's $2 billion trading loss. I'm Dapper Costrin with the Bloomberg After the Bell report.
Plenty of sunshine for today, and we're starting to see a few more clouds pop up, especially in the Southern Valley, Southern Rockingham County into Augusta and Highland County. Could see maybe a slight shower for Highland County. That would be the only area where we will see that activity. And quite the boundary out there, a little bit drier, especially for the Northern Valley. Here's our relative humidity, 35%, and then a little bit closer to 50% as we get into the Southern Valley. So we do have that boundary, especially behind that cold front last night. That drier air hasn't exactly made its way through the entire valley. Still working on trying to get that here. I don't think it will exactly make it. We'll talk about why in a moment. 71 degrees outside our studio. Winds still out of the northeast, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Still a bit breezy at times when they kick up a little bit closer to 10 miles an hour, but pulling in those northeasterly winds is keeping a little bit moisture in the air. 73 for Stanley, 72 in Harrisonburg. We're actually seeing some cooler temperatures for the higher elevations, barely hitting 60 degrees actually. And here's what we're looking at the surface. Well, we're looking at high pressure trying to build into the area, picking up on a northeasterly flow, but we have a low pressure system off the Carolina coast. That will be our weather feature as we get into the end of the weekend, where it could make it into the area and we could actually see some rain. Temperatures overnight tonight into the lower 50s. 52 degrees will be our overnight low. Not a bad evening to get out, though. Still pretty mild, at least before midnight. Temperatures in the higher elevations in the mid-40s, so a bit cooler, especially for the highlands. Tomorrow, temperatures will be rounding out pretty much close to where they were today. We're going to see a little bit of a cooler start with temperatures in the 50s. 54 degrees for 7 a.m. Partly cloudy skies throughout the afternoon. 68 by noontime in our afternoon high. Back up to 71 degrees. Still a mild afternoon, but we'll start to see some clouds, especially as we have that northeasterly flow kicking into the area. That will definitely bring some clouds into the area. 71 our high for tomorrow. The higher elevations, well, we'll sit right around 70 degrees for tomorrow. Getting into the next couple of days, Saturday, 78, beautiful afternoon. However, as we still continue to pick up on some of the easterly winds, we'll still see some clouds building into the area and watching that low pressure system develop off the coast. That could bring us a little bit of rain, especially as we get into Sunday night. 79 for Sunday, a mix of sun and clouds, so not a bad weekend, and we're looking to stay dry at least through the first part of Sunday. Overnight lows holding back into the 50s as we get into our Monday. Well, that's when we'll start to introduce the chance for some showers and possibly a thunderstorm as that system makes its way into our area. 76 for Monday and a chance for showers Sunday night and into Monday. 75 for Tuesday, and that's when we have our best chance to actually see some rain actually building into the area. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
We want to quickly get you up to speed on some of the top headlines this evening.
We continue to follow breaking news tonight out of Florida in the death of Trayvon Martin, the 17-year-old Florida teen shot and killed by a neighborhood watch volunteer. Autopsy results just released show Martin had the drug THC in his system the night of his death. The autopsy report shows traces of the drug, which is found in marijuana in Martin's blood and urine.
Legendary disco queen Donna Summer has died after a battle with cancer. Her publicist said the singer passed away this morning in Florida, surrounded by her family. Summer was a 5-time Grammy winner. She was 63 years old. This evening, a report from the Census Bureau shows that for the first time ever, more than half of all babies born last year in the U.S. were minorities.
And Aubrey, what is our forecast looking like this evening?
Pretty nice evening out there for tonight. We'll see a few clouds in the area, but not a bad evening. You'll notice some cooler temperatures, that's for sure. And we've got a pretty nice Friday coming up for us and some mild conditions for the weekend. And then we'll start to introduce the chance for some rain.
And I understand Kitty and George are up next to talk about safety through weather through WHSV.com.
Exactly. All our weather needs on the website. Right.